Karl-Anthony Towns threw the best pass of his career against the Milwaukee Bucks, and I'm going to spend this whole video talking about that. It's an obviously impressive pass in the first quarter. Towns drives right by Giannis Antetokounmpo. Miles Turner steps up and contests, swarmed by two players right here. Cole Anthony's in kind of a perfect spot right here. Got to play between the zones, right, to between those players, and yet Towns whips it out to Bridges. And maybe you're like, this is a cool pass, but is that really the best pass of his career? Maybe it's the most consequential, and we're gonna talk about it. I want to try this like little new format, so let me know what you think. And as always, likes, comments, and subscriptions would always be so helpful. But I just want to go watch a random highlight reel on YouTube. I'll link this below, of Cat's best career passes. And the thing about Towns, he is a very objectively talented passer. Like, looking at just the passing stats, it's a little deflated in New York because of his role, but like always among the top bigs in potential assists and rim assists throughout his career. There's like a really good big man playmaker, talented passer. And the thing about Cat's playmaking, though, is notice that pretty much all of his highlight passes are while he's standing still, or like in transition or something, where he can survey and scan the floor. Cat play that the kind of flashy over the head was honestly functional, because that was the best way for him to get the ball over to Mikal. He's holding the ball out right here, and if he just throws it over with his right hand normally instead of over the head, Jakob Poeltl might have been optimal actually. And you're going to see, here's a beautiful diamond transition. But just notice, most of these passes are not coming on the move. They're Karl-Anthony Towns as a passing hub. They're him, reading at the court with cutters around him, or him kind of surveying the floor from the post or in a face-up. I honestly have no idea why they included this pass. Like, this is not a highlight pass. I'm sorry. It's just like a pass forward in transition. This is one of his few ones. And this is kind of like the clip that we showed, right? He doesn't never pass on drives, but a couple differences right here where, again, there's only one defender in here. Remember, Nick Claxton is alone here. It was Miles Turner and Giannis, and this pass wasn't as accurate. Brunson has to bobble, and a better contest might have forced a miss or a pass out. But point being, most of these plays are Cat surveying the floor from the top of the key, looking at cutters, and the numbers do bear this out as well. We can look at the drive data the NBA has, and this is from last season, 2020-2025. Cat was second to last in the league in pass rate on drives. Only 11.8% of his 8 drives per game he passed out of. And in the postseason, that became even more extreme, where Cat, with a minimum of 5 drives per game, of course, was once again last by a mile. Nobody really even close. And that has sustained into 2025-26, though it's actually gotten a little bit better. He's not bottom of the league anymore. He's at 17.9. That's actually a pretty significant uptick from around 11% these last couple seasons. But point being, Towns is not an effective passer on drives, generally speaking. And we've seen this exploited in the playoffs as recently as this Pacers series. And we're going to go back to my clips right here that I put together that aren't that highlight. But shout out to that highlight reel. I'll post that in the link so you can watch it yourself. But in the Pacers series, the Pacers were able to really load up on Towns because they weren't worried about his passing. This is theoretically a great play by the Knicks, setting up a little off-ball action, a little screen for Brunson to get to the basket to occupy these help defenders. But that doesn't really matter if Towns isn't like seeing the option. There's a ton of space right here to pass into, and all he really needs to do is drop the ball forward to Jalen Brunson, who can either go lay the ball up or make a play with Miles Turner in conflict. But Cat ends up turning the ball over because he doesn't really have the vision or the whatever it is to kind of turn his scoring chances into passing and playmaking chances. Like, he was so big and physical that the Pacers were constantly throwing 2 defenders at him in this series, and it honestly wasn't working for a lot of it. He was still getting through, but like OG Anunoby cutting right in front of him. Mikal Bridges out for 3. You could even probably get it into Mitchell Robinson somehow. But point being, right, the film definitely checks out with the numbers. And we've seen playoff teams exploit this so far. And I think it's only fair to mention that Towns in this Bucks game was really poor. It was one of the worst games of his career. I think he had like 8 points on really poor efficiency. Just was not that impactful for most of the game. But I do think, even though Cat is not shooting well at the beginning of the season, there is some reason for optimism. And I really enjoyed Mike Brown's new offense with the Knicks, even though the results have been piss poor, but their shot making has just been horrific. We're going to look at some of the NBA's new tracking data that they released this season. Their expected field goal model, right? These are the best shot makers, FG+, field goals over expected. H.A. Green, Luka. Cat is last. He's last in field goal percentage over expected. Based on, their tracking data, he'd be expected to be at 48% field goal percentage. He's at 32%. And it's just, I do think some of that, right? Like, he's expected to, especially with the 2-point expected field goal percentage, up at 60%. And the 3-point expected field goal percentage is like pretty much average. So it's just the scoring inside the paint that I think will level out for him. But I think Mike Brown is built more like layups and easy buttons into this offense, and that can help Cat's kind of assisting and driving on the move. Like, this is nothing crazy, but I do like seeing Cat like make a quick little decision after one dribble instead of trying to drive through contact and 2 defenders like he always does. Mike Brown in this offense has so much, and I want to talk more about this Knicks offense. Maybe I will eventually, but oftentimes an early offense level player like filling behind for a handoff, or in this case a wide open 3, and Cat takes advantage of that easy button right there. But I do think we've seen, a couple of flashes of Cat's playmaking on drives, and I think there are none better than this play, which unfortunately, this is the story of the Knicks season, just like beautiful offense ruined by terrible shot making. But this is a very similar play to that one in the playoffs against the Pacers that Cat didn't make. But we're going to go back and compare the windows. I talk about that on the channel all the time. It's like when you're evaluating passing. How big is the window? The window here is pretty large, even by playoff defense standards. And Halliburton and Nembhard aren't really bothering Towns. They're both occupied with the action. So it's a 1v1, right, into big space, and Towns doesn't make that pass. Now we're going to look at this pass against the Bucks from later in the game. It is 1v1 once again, but he has Ryan Rollins actively defending this passing lane, making this pass more difficult. And this is not nearly as much space, right? Taurean Prince is here squeezing at the rim. And if this is anybody but Landry Shamet, a more aggressive, better rim finisher, this is a wide open layup or dunk. Like this, I don't know. Shamet's been actually quite excellent to start the season. I've really been happy with this play. But point being, Cat created a layup and eventually a wide open 3 right there by passing on the move while going forward. It's not something he's done a lot in his career, and I'm excited to see how he can build this season on offense. Like, I don't think the Knicks are going to be like 27th and half court offensive rating or whatever throughout this entirety of the season, and plays like this are a big reason why. I mean, just, oh my God, let's just watch this pass one more time. It is truly ridiculous stuff. Everybody flowing the direction of the drive. And yep, Cat knows that means this is the spot that's going to be open. And it's honestly kind of a no look as well. Like, it's a little hard to see, but even just like Cat would like it would be hard for Cat to like turn his head around to look at McHale from this angle. So kind of has to be a no look. And man, like I said, this was not a good game from Towns overall. I think he really struggled on both ends of the floor, and his defense especially is worrisome to me. But he's an awesome offensive player. And I want to try more of these like kind of videos where I break down one play I see that really interests me that I'm watching, because I watch a ton of film for work anyways, and then turning it into like a little video. So let me know what you think of this, and I hope you have a great day or night.